Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to like and subscribe so everyone can understand you next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Groot because I thought the new Fast and Furious movie was coming out today and I wanted to make another Vin Diesel character, but then it got delayed and I still wanted to make Groot, so here we are. Also, before we get started, if you're thinking about rolling up and playing a character who only says, "I am Groot," I've got some advice for you on how to make that work. Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to be a tree, or at least be very tall and have barky skin if we can't go full on Ent. Next, we're going to make sure our limbs are really long to smack people around from far away. Finally, we'll get the ability to never die, or at least be incredibly hard to chop down permanently. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just make sure you're keeping your wisdom and your strength high. Wisdom will be number 1. You're more than connected to nature, you are nature. Strength after that, you're built like a redwood. That's a type of tree, and Groot is a tree. It's a tree joke. Constitution next, you've got pretty thick skin, it's almost bark-like in nature. Follow that up with intelligence, you're not great at communicating your ideas, but you've got a lot of good ones. Dexterity is a little low, trees aren't known for their mobility, but we'll dump charisma. Again, don't you dare speak with 3 words. Actually, go ahead, just don't tell anybody I said it was okay. There's no tree race in 5e. There's wood elves, which aren't made of wood, and Eladrin, which have some leafiness to them, but the race that would best suit our suitless boy would be Goliath. You get +2 strength and +1 constitution. Stone's endurance, which lets you reduce damage by 1d12 plus your constitution modifier as a reaction once per short rest, meaning that your bark is better than most things bites. You have a powerful build letting you carry things like a large creature, basically letting you double your carrying capacity. All Goliaths also get athletic skill. Build your own background for medicine and nature, I guess. It doesn't really matter. We'll be able to grab all the skills except for athletics from our starting class. That class being Druid, and other skills being animal handling and survival. You know Druidic, which is a special language only Druids can speak. Maybe that's your Groot speak, I don't know. We're really here for spells. Druids have a very unique list, and we don't do a lot of druids, so let's talk about those cantrips first. Thorn Whip is a melee spell attack that deals 1d6 piercing damage, but it also has a 30-foot range and yoinks people 10 feet closer to you if they're larger, smaller, and you want them to be closer to you. So they can come a little bit closer if they're your kind of man. That's a song from Guardians 2, a little soundtrack humor for you. Druidcraft lets you do some small stuff like tell the forecast, make tiny flowers bloom, make a little smell or other sensory effect. It's basically Druid prestidigitation. For your first level spells, Cure Wounds heals 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier as an action for some tree healing magic stuff. Entangle creates a 20-foot square of difficult terrain and forces a strength saving throw of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and wisdom modifier on creatures inside, restraining them if they fail so your allies will have advantage on their attacks against them. That means Groody Rudies help raccoons shooty. It lasts for a minute depending on your concentration. Fairy Fire forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 20-foot cube. Failing that, creatures attacking them get advantage and they can't go invisible because they're covered in your bioluminescent spores. Speaking of spores, second level druids can choose a circle, and the circle of spores get halos of spores, which let you force a constitution saving throw on creatures that come within 10 feet of you, dealing 1d4 necrotic damage to them if they fail as you hit them with them bad shrooms. The real reason we're taking Spore Druid though is so that we don't have to talk about wild shaping because Groot doesn't turn into animals, but that's what wild shape does, so look into that if you want to be a dog because you can. But Symbiotic Entity is more your speed, giving you temporary HP equal to 5 times your Druid level, doubling your Halo of Spore die, and adding a d6 of poison damage to your melee attacks for a little extra sap on those slaps. For this level spell, Long Strider adds 10 feet to your movement speed so you can stretch your legs. Literally stretch them. That's a Groot thing. You can make your strides longer. Third level druids get second level spells. Bark Skin makes your skin bark. So boom, now we're a tree. Makes your skin very woody and your AC can't be lower than 16 for an hour depending on your concentration. Fourth level druids get an ability score improvement and we've got a couple of places we could put it. I'll say wisdom so we can get more knowledge of spells. Spells like Enlarge Reduce, which was added to the druid list in the class feature variants Unearthed Arcana, letting you make a creature larger and deal an extra d4 with strength based attacks. They also get advantage on strength checks and saves. Use it for longer arms and bigger sap slaps. You could also reduce a target's size and get the inverse effect, but that's not in character. And they can resist it with a constitution save. The effects last for a minute depending on your concentration, no matter how you're using those effects. Spike growth creates a 20-foot radius circle of thorns that's difficult terrain and deals 2d4 piercing damage to creatures for every 5 feet of movement they spend in the area. Creatures can make a perception check against your spell DC to spot your sneaky spikes. Also, your wild shapes can swim now, but just use the symbiotic entity. That's more your thing. We'll bounce over to fighter now for some brawling skills. Unarmed fighting is a fighting style from the class feature variants Unearthed Arcana because so many characters like to punch, so I swear we use this like every week, maybe even twice a week sometimes. It lets you deal 1d6 bludgeoning damage with unarmed attacks, 1d8 if you've got 2 free hands, 1d4 when you grapple a creature, and an extra d4 of damage every time you attack a creature you have grappled. You also get a little regeneration here with Second Wind, letting you heal 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest to get your limbs back. Well, maybe not limbs, but like a finger, maybe. Second level fighters get Action Surge, letting you make 2 actions in a turn instead of 1 once per short rest, in case somebody is going after your boss. Rocket doesn't strike me as the tanky type. Speaking of defending your friends, third level fighters can choose a martial archetype, and cavaliers are the best defensive option for a fighter. Yes, you're born to the saddle, giving you advantage on saving throws against falling off your mount, so a lot of people think that this class is only for mounted characters, but that is such a small part of it. You also get Unwavering Mark at this level, which lets you mark a creature you hit with a melee attack, giving them disadvantage on attacks against creatures who aren't you. If they do deal damage to those creatures, you get to attack them with your bonus action next turn with advantage, and extra damage equal to half your fighter level. You have an amount of marks equal to your strength modifier. Don't let anybody hurt your friends, they are Groot after all. Born to the Saddle makes you better at mounting, but Unwavering Mark makes you a better mount. You also get an extra skill as a cavalier, maybe take performance, you're a pretty great dancer. 4th level fighters get another ability score improvement. More strength will make you punch harder and bump your number of marks. I'd go for that. You've got pretty bonkers lifting abilities. 5th level fighters get an extra attack, so you can sap, slap, double tap, slap some sap, then slap them back. I don't know what that was, but this is really good if your entity is going and you're enlarged with an Action Surge for 4d6 plus 8d4 plus 16 bludgeoning damage and 4d6 poison damage in a single round. 6th level fighters get another ability score improvement so we can cap off our strength modifier and punch really freaking hard. That's always fun. We'll get another quick defensive ability from fighter level 7 thanks to Cavalier's Warding Maneuver, letting you add a d8 to the AC of a creature within 5 feet of you as a reaction as long as you're carrying a weapon or a shield. Get a wooden shield. You can make your arm into one anyway, but just tweak it for flavor. No need to change mechanics out. If the hit gets through anyway, they still get resistance to the damage. You can do this an amount of times equal to your Constitution modifier, so maybe we'll invest in that soon. Who knows? I know, I wrote this script ahead of time, but we're actually going to go back over to Druid. I want a 7th level Druid spell, so that means we can't get 8 levels of fighter for that ability score improvement. Oh well. 5th level druids can learn 3rd level spells. Plant growth lets you give some plants a little bit of Brawndo, letting you turn 100 feet area into super difficult terrain, making creatures moving through it spend 4 times as much movement speed. Or if you'd rather cast the spell for 8 hours, you can make the plants in a half-mile radius produce twice as much food for a year. If only you could tell Rocket you have that ability. I know he'd be able to figure out how to get some serious credits with that kind of skill. 6th level spore druids get some nice healing abilities. Kind of. Fungal Infestation lets you turn a small or medium creature that dies within 10 feet of you into a zombie under your command for an hour. Maybe you're just Weekend at Bernie'sing them with your branches. We're really here for druid spells like Enhance Ability from the 2nd level, letting you give a creature you touch advantage on checks and saves of a certain kind. If you choose Strength, they also double their carrying capacity. If you choose Dexterity, they're going to be immune to fall damage from heights of 20 feet or less. And if you choose Constitution, they get an extra 2d6 temporary HP. Keep in mind that those don't stack with your symbiotic entity, so maybe assist your allies or just make yourself super duper strong. 7th level druids get 4th level spells. Grasping Vine lets you set up a vine somewhere in a 30-foot radius and yoink creatures that fail a dexterity saving throw 20 feet closer to it as a bonus action every turn for a minute. It requires a little bit of creativity to get the most out of it, but for a demonstration of how great it can be, check out Escape from the Bloodkeep on Dimension 20. Also, just for fun. It's a really fun campaign to watch. 8th level druids get another ability score improvement. I think bumping that wisdom would make your natural connection a little bit stronger. For this level spell, Erupting Earth forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 20-foot cube, dealing 3d12 bludgeoning damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed, and it turns that whole area into difficult terrain while your roots tear up the floor. Also, your wild shape can fly, but who cares? Just get the extra HP and poisony business from symbiotic entity. 9th level druids can learn 5th level spells. Wrath of Nature causes nature to go absolutely nuts in a 60-foot cube. If there's grass in that area, the area becomes difficult terrain. If there's trees, creatures within 10 feet of them have to make a dexterity save or take 4d6 slashing damage. If there's roots and vines, one creature has to make a strength saving throw or they're restrained until they can make an athletics check against your spell save, and they stay that way until the spell's done so you can use it on multiple targets while the spell is going. Finally, if there's a rock in the area, you can make a ranged spell attack as a bonus action that deals 3d8 bludgeoning damage and forces a strength save or knocks them prone as you yeet a boulder at them. All of this madness lasts for a minute depending on your concentration. 10th level Spore Druids get Spreading Spores, letting you yeet your spores 30 feet away as a bonus action on your turn with your symbiotic entity active. They fill a 10-foot cube for a minute or until you throw them again, and that area forces a Constitution saving throw on creatures in the area or they take full damage, which at this point is 2d8 necrotic since you have to be using the entity to throw the spores. For this level's spell, Mass Cure Wounds heals 3d8 plus your Wisdom modifier to up to 6 creatures in a 60-foot range. So you can heal Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket, Drax, Crackle, and Pop. Damn it, I think there are Rice Krispies in the end there. 11th level Druids can learn 6th level spells. Wall of Thorns creates a Wall of Thorns that's either 60 feet long and 10 feet high, or a 20-foot ring that's 20 feet high. It blocks line of sight and forces dexterity saving throws on creatures in the area, dealing 7d8 piercing damage if they fail, and they have to re-roll the save if they move through the area again. It also quadruples the amount of movement they have to spend to get through that area. It all stays up for 10 minutes depending on your concentration. If you lock someone in with you, I'm guessing you're going to have more HP than them and you can tank it out longer than they do. 12 level Druids get our last ability score improvement. Cap off your Wisdom modifier and then start investing in Constitution for more warding maneuvers. You don't really need more bulk considering you can give yourself 60 temporary HP twice per day, but for even more bulk or even better healing, pick up the Heal spell here to instantly heal someone 70 HP and cure an effect of blindness, deafness, or disease affecting them. I kind of like all the healing you have. We don't make healers all that often, and you're definitely capable of doing things other than restoring hit points as well, so it's not like you're boxed into doing that. Our capstone is the 13th level of Druid for 7th level spells, and Regenerate is the best way to rearm yourself, literally. You touch a creature that gets 4d8 plus 15 healing right away, and then 1 HP every turn, or 10 HP per minute if you're out of combat for the next hour. Severed body parts come back after 2 minutes, or instantly if you hold the limb to the stump, like a tree. Smash the like button, people. You're not going to get comedy like that anywhere else. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, Druids are wonderful tanks with temporary HP and lots of healing you could use on yourself to keep your wood looking good. Speaking of healing, you can heal other people with lots of spell slots and options for mass healing or really fast localized healing. Finally, you can put out some nice damage with poison punches and big punches thanks to your capped strength score and extra attack. For weaknesses, you're bad at talking to people. Probably not a surprise to anyone who's seen Groot in action, but that low charisma score could also get you banished to other planes. Your Constitution score also limits your warding maneuvers with 2 per day. If you used that point array, that means that the 7th level Cavalier isn't doing that much, and another level of Druid would have made you immune to crits, deafness, blindness, poisoning, and frightening, which would be good, it's just not as in character as shielding your buddies. Finally, your low dexterity makes you susceptible to fireballs. Weird. It's like you're a tree. But forget all that. With your bulkiness and healing ability, you're a perfect mount for a tiny artificer archer hybrid thing. We'll build Rocket eventually, don't worry. Just remember, you're one tree in a forest. You tend to do better with other creatures around you. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Also sub to Tulok and Mango, and check out my Patreon if you want to give me money to eat and have health insurance and pay someone to do sheets and stuff. No pressure.